If you're a woman going through a divorce in Florida and suspect hidden assets, these 7 warning signs could save your financial future. Hidden assets destroy divorce settlements in Florida every single year, and these are 7 warning signs that your spouse could be moving money where you can't find it. Some of these methods date back decades, and others rely on technology that most attorneys didn't even understand 5 years ago. But all of them share one thing in common, which is that they work best when the other spouse doesn't know what to look for. A 2023 Bankrate survey put the number at 42% of adults in relationships who have committed some form of financial infidelity. That covers nearly half of all couples. And that's just the people who admitted it. The picture gets uglier when you narrow the focus to divorce specifically. Surveys cited by family law attorneys found that roughly 1 in 4 people who went through a divorce admitted to hiding assets from their ex. Not suspected, not accused, but openly admitted. So that gut feeling you've had, the one telling you the numbers don't add up, deserves your full attention. This video breaks down exactly what to watch for, what Florida law requires your spouse to disclose, and what happens when someone gets caught lying under oath. Before we get into the red flags themselves, the legal framework in Florida matters here because it shapes everything that follows. Florida operates as an equitable distribution state, which most people misunderstand. Equitable does not mean 50-50. It means a judge divides marital assets based on what the court considers fair, guided by a set of factors spelled out in Florida Statute Section 61.075. The default starting point is an equal split, but judges deviate from that all the time. And one of the biggest reasons for that deviation is when one spouse has been engaging in dissipation of marital assets or wasting marital money. Florida's divorce rate sits at about 3.4 per 1,000 residents as of 2024, compared to a national average hovering around 2.3 to 2.5. That gap tells you something about the volume of cases moving through Florida courts, and it means judges here have encountered every concealment tactic that exists. What makes Florida's system particularly powerful for honest spouses comes down to Rule 12.285 of the Florida Family Law Rules of Procedure. Both parties must hand over full automatic financial disclosure within 45 days of the divorce petition being served. That list of required documents includes 3 years of federal and state tax returns, up to 2 years of W-2s, 1099s and K-1s, 6 months of pay stubs, bank statements, investment account records, retirement account records, and real property documents. Each spouse also signs a financial affidavit, which is Florida Family Law Form 112902, under oath and under penalty of perjury. And keep in mind that when divorce papers are filed in Florida, an automatic temporary injunction goes into effect, legally prohibiting both spouses from hiding, disposing of, or transferring marital assets. Hiding assets in a Florida divorce isn't just dishonest, it's a criminal act. Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through each of these 7 red flags. Women tend to notice this one first, and is the warning sign that shows up most often. Passwords on bank accounts or financial apps change without explanation. Mail that used to arrive at the house stops showing up, or you discover a P.O. box that was opened without your knowledge. Statements you once had access to vanish entirely, and conversations about money get shut down or deflected with vague non-answers. A spouse who used to be at least somewhat open about the household finances and then suddenly locks everything down isn't going through a mood shift. That behavior follows a strategy, and it almost always precedes asset concealment. This red flag works in 2 directions. On one side, you see a pattern of large or frequent ATM withdrawals that don't connect to anything you're aware of. On the other, your spouse's spending clearly outpaces what he reports as income. The go-to excuse tends to be business expenses, and sometimes that explanation holds up. But when the pattern accelerates right around the time divorce enters the picture, coincidence stops being a reasonable explanation. Cash remains one of the oldest and simplest methods for draining a marital estate, because once it leaves the account, tracing it becomes extremely difficult. This tactic follows a simple script that plays out constantly in Florida divorce cases. Your husband moves a large sum to a friend or family member, framed as either a loan or a gift, with a quiet understanding that the money returns after the divorce closes. A more creative version involves fabricating a debt, where your spouse claims to owe money to an associate and starts making regular payments on an obligation that never existed. On paper, the marital estate shrinks. In reality, every dollar sits in someone else's account, waiting to come back. And this is where forensic accounting becomes a weapon, because these transfers leave patterns that trained professionals can identify and document for the court. Spouses who own businesses, especially cash-heavy ones, operate with a level of financial control that makes concealment far easier. Revenue gets underreported. Employees who don't exist collect paychecks. Contracts and deals get delayed until after the settlement. Cash gets skimmed directly from daily operations. Every one of these moves serves the same purpose, which is to make the business appear less profitable, so the marital estate looks smaller during proceedings. Detecting this kind of manipulation without professional help is extremely hard, but the traces still exist. Bank deposits that don't align with reported income, expense categories that look inflated, employees whose names you've never heard, all of these point toward the same problem. Anyone whose spouse runs a business should treat unexplained financial inconsistencies as a serious concern. This is the method that's growing fastest, and it catches a lot of attorneys off guard. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NFTs can all be stored in hardware wallets or self-custody wallets, which means there's no bank issuing monthly statements and no automatic paper trail connecting the asset to a brokerage account. A spouse who has been quietly purchasing crypto and moving it off exchanges into private storage can make those assets nearly invisible during disclosure. But here's where it gets interesting. Florida courts have started catching up, and judges now issue subpoenas directly to cryptocurrency exchanges. Since 2020, the IRS requires crypto disclosure on Form 1040 Schedule B, which means tax returns should reveal cryptocurrency activity. Forensic investigators use blockchain analysis platforms like Chainalysis to trace transactions across the public ledger, and even privacy-focused cryptocurrencies can sometimes be partially tracked through the fiat entry and exit points where crypto converts back into dollars. If you've noticed your husband discussing crypto purchases, spotted exchange apps on his phone, or seen small hardware wallet devices around the house, your attorney needs that information immediately. Most people miss this one entirely because it doesn't look like hiding at all. The concept works like this. Your husband deliberately overpays his taxes, sending the IRS more than he actually owes, so that a large refund arrives after the divorce finalized. During proceedings, the money appeared gone, sent to the government. Nothing suspicious, but it was never gone, just temporarily parked somewhere the other spouse wouldn't think to look. The other version involves delaying compensation. Bonuses get pushed into the next quarter, stock options or RSUs get deferred, commissions mysteriously slow to a trickle, and the timing always lines up with the divorce timeline, which is never a coincidence. Once the settlement closes, income surges right back to normal. A sudden and unexplained drop in your husband's earnings, right when divorce becomes a possibility, should set off alarms. This last method has been around longer than any of the others, and it still works. A spouse undervalues real estate, art, jewelry, or collectibles on disclosure documents, or he converts liquid cash into high-value physical items that fit inside a safe deposit box you don't know about. Gold, luxury watches, rare coins, all of these store enormous value in a very small space. Unusual expensive purchases that don't match normal spending patterns deserve attention. So do reported values on known assets that seem low compared to what you believe they're worth. Appraisals can be manipulated, values can be understated on paper, and physical items can simply disappear from the marital estate if nobody knows to ask about them. What happens to a spouse who gets caught? Florida law treats this kind of deception with real weight, and the penalties reflect that. Lying on a financial affidavit, which is a document signed under oath, constitutes perjury in the state of Florida. That charge carries classification as a third-degree felony, with penalties reaching up to 5 years in prison, up to 5 years of probation, and fines as high as $5,000. But the criminal exposure is only part of it. A judge can hold the hiding spouse in contempt of court, which brings its own fines and potential jail time. The court also has the authority to award the honest spouse a larger share of the marital assets as a direct consequence of the deception. And in many cases, the spouse who concealed assets gets ordered to cover the other party's attorney's fees as well. And this is the part most people never hear about. Even after a Florida divorce is finalized and the decree is signed, a case can be reopened if hidden assets surface later. Proving fraud is required, but the door stays open. A signed divorce settlement does not necessarily end the story. Recognizing the red flags matters, but knowing what tools Florida gives you to act on them is what actually changes your outcome. The discovery process in a Florida divorce provides serious leverage. Your attorney can file interrogatories, which are written questions your spouse must answer under oath. Requests for production force the other side to hand over bank statements, tax returns, and business records. Depositions put your husband in a chair answering questions verbally, under oath, where inconsistencies get exposed in real time. Subpoenas can go directly to banks, brokerages, employers, and cryptocurrency exchanges, compelling those institutions to produce records, regardless of whether your spouse cooperates. When the financial picture looks complicated, a forensic accountant or certified divorce financial analyst becomes the most valuable investment in the entire case. These professionals typically charge between $200 and $500 per hour, and a full investigation runs anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 or more, depending on complexity. That price tag sounds steep until you weigh it against the assets that might otherwise disappear. Forensic accountants specialize in bank and credit card analysis, lifestyle versus income comparisons, and digital forensics, with a typical investigation running 3 to 6 months. Judges in high asset or suspected fraud cases can even appoint a forensic accountant through the court directly. When retirement accounts are involved, division requires a qualified domestic relations order, or QDRO, which is a specialized court order that allows 401k and pension assets to be split without tax penalties. This makes retirement account concealment particularly damaging because it affects both current assets and future security. One procedural detail worth understanding is that Florida places the burden of proof on the accusing spouse when it comes to asset dissipation claims. The standard required is clear and convincing evidence, which sits above the normal civil threshold. That high bar makes documentation and professional help even more valuable from day one. 42% of people in relationships commit financial infidelity, according to Bankrate's 2023 data. 1 in 4 divorcees admit they hid assets. Those numbers don't describe rare behavior, they describe a pattern. Going through a divorce in Florida means operating in a state that ranks among the highest divorce rates in the country, but also a state with strict mandatory disclosure rules and real penalties for breaking them. The 7 red flags to watch for are sudden financial secrecy, unexplained cash withdrawals, transfers to third parties, business income manipulation, cryptocurrency and digital assets, overpaying taxes or delaying compensation, and undervaluing or concealing physical property. You don't need a forensic accounting degree to spot these patterns. You need awareness, you need documentation, and you need the right attorney standing next to you. Florida law requires full financial disclosure under oath, gives you powerful discovery tools to verify that disclosure, and punishes spouses who lie about it. But none of those protections activate on their own. You have to use them. If anything in this video sounded familiar, talk to a Florida family law attorney sooner rather than later. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.